Hello everyone and welcome to the very first episode of the Eye of the Hurricane podcast. My name is Chris Robinson, aka Hurricane. You can find me on Twitter at Hurricane_SXE. The music that you are listening to is dubstep, courtesy of bensound.com. Tonight with me on the show are my good friends Matt Reagan and Cody Stanifer, aka Weebo. If you have not done so already, you can like the show on Facebook, facebook.com/Eye of the Hurricane podcast. The show is also on Twitter at EOH Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, topic ideas, or any type of feedback, criticism, whatever it is, you can send it to us at any of those social media outlets, or you can email us at eyeofthehurricanepodcast@gmail.com. This week, we are going to discuss the origins of this show, how the idea came about. It's a very interesting story. Hopefully you'll find it as funny as we did. We also are going to talk about the worst movies we've ever seen, our theories for Captain America Civil War and Season 6 of The Walking Dead, and we're going to teach some old folks some new young people words. That was a suggestion from one of our fans on Facebook. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're very excited to be to this point, and I hope you enjoy the show. Alright, I am back, and I am here with...
Matt Reagan.
And where can people follow you on Twitter, Matt Reagan?
At Dumain, D-U-M-A-I-N.
And also here with me, besides Matt, is...
Cody Stanifer.
And where can people follow you on Twitter, Cody Stanifer?
The void in space and time, because I don't have a Twitter.
And why don't you have a Twitter, Cody Stanifer?
Because I'm old.
Because he's old.
Also, how are we back? This is our first episode.
That's why I was asking.
I'm back, because I did the intro before y'all got here.
Well, aren't you fancy?
I still don't think that counts, though.
It does. It totally does.
Anyway, back to the argument we were having before this. 9 o'clock shows were our tradition when we went and saw movies.
Yeah, but originally it was like me, you, and one other person.
Exactly.
And then you replaced me.
No, you stopped going.
Because I had work the next day. I got the crack of dawn. And you're like, oh, no one else. You don't matter. Everybody else does.
The crack of dawn, yes. 7 o'clock is the crack of dawn. And 11 o'clock at home is super late.
It is when you like sleep.
1 o'clock is the crack of dawn for me.
AM or PM?
PM.
I hate you so much.
I hate you more.
You have to lean in closer to the thing so people can hear you.
Maybe I don't want people to hear me.
They need to be able to hear you. What movie? You're talking about Ant-Man, right? When we went and saw Ant-Man Friday night?
Yes, because you were actually cool and decided to go, Chris.
Hey, in my defense, no one went with me to see, and I'm at a lost for words. I actually can't remember the movie I saw last week.
It was probably something terrible.
Was it My Little Pony?
Hey, the new one of that doesn't come out till the 26th of September.
But speaking about Ant-Man, though, what did you think about Ant-Man?
It was awesome.
In ranking of, like, from all the other Marvel movies, where would you put it in relation to, like, Iron Man, Hulk, and all, Avengers and all that? Guardians.
It would probably go Guardians, Captain America 2, Ant-Man, Avengers 1.
I mean, nothing beats the original Hulk movie, though. I mean, that was like the best movie ever, right?
Are you talking about Ang Lee?
Maybe.
No, that movie was terrible.
Get off the podcast now. You're banished.
I probably offended so many people with that comment. It was terrible, though. I'm joking.
You offended people that have
A decent taste in movies?
So neither of you?
No. Not me at all. And if it sounds like sometimes that people are like in the background, it's because we are only using one microphone right now because the other one is coming from China for some bizarre reason.
Everything comes from China. You know how it goes.
Now you're just sounding like an old racist white man.
But literally, look at everything. Everything comes from China.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
I ordered a bag that was based on a Japanese anime, and it came from China.
But just because we don't disagree doesn't mean we're going to say it out loud.
Okay, but
Did you go to a Confederate flag parade, Cody?
No, but fun fact, I did see something interesting today. You know how we've seen all these trucks going around with the Confederate flags everywhere?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I actually saw something that kind of made me proud. I saw the same thing going on, except instead of a Confederate flag, somebody was raising the American flag on the back of their truck.
Not the American flag.
I know, ban it, right?
Traitors.
I kind of want to fly a Jolly Roger from the black... Not a Jolly Roger, that's a pirate flag.
Good job. You know why I've been wanting to raise the French flag before the Revolution?
Why?
Because it's pretty much the same thing as the Confederate flag, except, their revolution actually succeeded.
Okay, but why?
Because it's another flag that really doesn't mean anything, but...
I think most people would argue that the Confederate flag actually does mean something, though.
It's a historical flag from a old military that's no longer in service. I mean, it still has meaning pretty much like any other flag as historical-wise, but when it comes to actually meaning something dominant nowadays, no one flies it like as a battlement to go to war or anything like that. It's just a symbol of history, and that's about it. Same with any other old flag that really isn't used for anything.
Essentially like the Nazi flag, which coincidentally is illegal in Germany.
Exactly.
But I don't think people drive around with Nazi flags hanging off the back of their 4x4s.
Have you been to the South?
We are in the South, and I've never seen a Nazi flag hanging off of the back of somebody's Dodge Ram.
I have
Good
seen
point.
multiple swastikas tattooed on guys in the drive-thru when I worked in fast food, though.
I've also seen people wear T-shirts with swastikas on them, and I'm like,
Are you serious?
yes, I am serious.
But when you see those people, do you not, what do you think, though? You don't think, oh, well, there's a historical symbol. No, you think those guys are freaking Nazis, racists. Am I right or am I wrong about that?
Where they lost a bet.
That's pretty crappy bet.
That's right. But, so, I'm telling you, though, when I see somebody with the little swastika thing on their face, I think of American History X. This person is probably a racist.
Bright side, that's a good movie.
It is a good movie and one that I've seen. So, what do you have to say about my taste in movies now?
It's getting better.
I actually have yet to see American History X.
What?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it took you, 10 years to watch Cowboy Bebop?
But I legitimately had never... It came on Cartoon Network after I got Cartoon Network.
We're talking about Cowboy Bebop, right? Not
Yeah.
American History X?
No, we're definitely talking about Mystery.
American History X totally came
That
on
was
Cartoon
probably
Network.
on Adult Swim. I don't know if people can hear you back there, though.
Well, I've been watching the monitors. I'm staying in the green pretty well. Y'all are blowing it out at red, though.
I like the red.
Yeah, you're getting a little too close. I haven't actually been watching it, but now that I am.
I just don't want it to sound like an echo in the background.
I know. I've worked a boom mic before, helping a buddy of mine with movies, and it's easy to get into red. Trust me.
Going back to what we were talking about Ant-Man, though, what was your favorite part of Ant-Man? Spoilers okay, because I'll just bleep them out later.
Or you can just do no spoilers or spoil alert.
Spoiler alert.
Probably when he was going to steal a piece of equipment and figured out it was the facility.
And who did he run into at the facility that I can't say the word of?
Facility, Chris. The word is facility.
And who was at this facility?
It was... Oh, crap. It was... No,
It was...
Falcon.
And who got the ever-living beat out of him by Ant-Man at the facility?
It was...
That's right. Ant-Man beat the ever-living out of the at the facility. Cody's covering his ears. He hasn't seen the movie because he had better things to do, I guess, Friday night.
However, he may unplug his ears because I know he'll want to hear this. It's not really a spoiler, but does make an appearance.
Nah, we'll see the movie.
You should
Kind
have
of
seen
a
it
spoiler. What did you think about the? And you might. I mean, it's kind of a spoiler. It's a line of dialogue. I don't know if you would really call it a spoiler, but it was a reference that was made, kind of an Easter egg, I guess, when they directly mentioned in the movie. Yes.
That was awesome.
Hey, Batman, you want to go see a movie? Yeah, my boots are all sticky.
What?
He says in like a strange way and reminded me of a YouTube video. No, it's Batman and Spider-Man. Just imagine two random guys dressed up as Superman and Spider-Man. Batman, thank you.
I've seen those videos, but I thought you were saying that I said funny.
It kind of sounded funny, yes.
Okay, well, anyway, so during it was pretty close to the end, though, I think, when the chick was like, we have one that's and we have one that
yeah, it was pretty much very near the end.
Maybe it was Spider-Woman.
No, it was.
So
can you prove it?
If it's Spider-Woman, we're going to get a poster with a giant ass on it?
Maybe.
More than likely, yes.
I'm not going to complain. And Chris is speechless. My goal is achieved.
I'm still waiting for an X-Men movie that involves X-23.
I don't know about X-23, but did you see the Comic-Con trailer for Apocalypse?
Actually, no. I think I missed that one.
It was leaked. It was one of those cam...
Yeah.
Like when Batman and Superman and all that was first released, so it's like a cam. It's very crappy quality of it, but the trailer looks freaking awesome.
Like when people get to see a movie 2 weeks beforehand and they get the little teaser thing at the end of the trailer. Not the trailer, but at the end of the credits, and leak it online a couple of weeks early before the movie actually comes out.
Yes, and speaking of which, if you go see Ant-Man, there are 2 credit scenes, one midway through the credits and one at the very, very end, so you'll have to sit through 7 minutes of credits, and after you see the names of the songs and who sang them, then you get the scene that contains another appearance by the and some other people who I may or may not spoil for Cody.
At this point, I don't care.
Speaking of the leaked Deadpool trailer, which I think they're going to release officially next month, if I'm not mistaken, but did you guys watch it?
Of course.
Matt's been hitting refresh on YouTube until that day comes.
Exactly. I watched it like 6 times the night it was released.
And showed it to me at least 3 times the next day.
Well, you were drunk that night and also could not hear it, because I didn't get to hear it till I got home.
Good point. We couldn't hear a lot of things.
Did you say Cody was drunk?
Yes, Cody was drunk. It was
my birthday. I deserved it.
It was your... I love how you say it like it was a punishment. It was my birthday.
Hey, it was kind of a punishment considering the air conditioning in the apartment did not work.
It did. It was just a small one-room studio apartment, and there were 7 of us in there.
I think you miscounted. I think there were 6, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, there were 6.
There's a lot of people in a small space.
True.
With
kind of like right now with 3 people sharing one microphone.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming that you're super excited for Deadpool, like I am.
Yes, I am.
It's actually his least favorite superhero.
That is blasphemy. I'm going to beat you with a shoe.
Hey. The Punisher still whooped his ass at one point.
I'm pretty sure I've read Deadpool kill the Punisher multiple times. Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
But the Punisher also killed the Marvel Universe at one point.
Speaking of the Punisher and Spider-Man, I saw a picture, I think on maybe Twitter or something like that had a picture of Tom Holland, which is the kid who's going to be playing Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe, and John Bernthal, also known as Shane from The Walking Dead, who will be playing the Punisher in the Daredevil series together. I don't know whether they were on set somewhere, but it kind of makes me wonder if they're going to put the Punisher in Civil War.
I hope so, because anybody that's read the Civil War, like, the Punisher's just badass in it.
Until Captain America beats the crap out of him.
True, but I mean,
he got beat up by Captain America. There's all the proof you need to know the Punisher could not actually kill the Marvel Universe.
I don't care what people say about Captain America. I think he's one of the better superheroes.
I don't think necessarily that people would disagree with that, though.
I don't know.
I mean, he may not be anybody. He may not be most people's favorite because he's not the coolest and the flashiest. But as far as iconography and his abilities and his roles within the comics, as in the leader of the Avengers and things like that, I think people can appreciate that. Unlike Superman, who's a
True that. I mean, honestly, besides Batman, who can honestly say what comic book character is the best in DC? DC really doesn't have anybody that actually stands out besides people in the Batman universe.
Now you've pissed everyone off.
Yep, I'm going to let Ryan listen to this so he can drive down to Malvern and beat the crap out of you.
I'm a fan of pretty much anything from the Aquaman franchise, but other than
now you've pissed even more people off.
Okay. There was one I can't remember. Oh god, what was that Aquaman's name? But there's one that's just really good. I mean, dude loses his hand, replaces it with a claw. I think it was I don't think it was the new 52 Aquaman, but I can't remember honestly.
So I think what Cody's saying here is, if someone gets their hand cut off and replaced with a claw, they're automatically much cooler. So
I mean, look at Merle.
Huh? True. I think Cody's given us permission to do that to him on the next podcast.
Didn't you do that during one of the D&D things? You did that to yourself on accident.
Yeah, I kind of did.
And then he wanted to quit. You rage quit. You stuck your hand in the thing, you got your hand cut off, and then you rage quit.
You literally said, I kill myself.
In my defense, I was playing a character that ran heavily on charisma, and usually in D&D, when you take a major physical, disadvantage like that, acid splash in the face, you lose a limb or something like that, you take a severe decrease to your charisma. And a character that runs on charisma with a low charisma might as well just go ahead and jump off a cliff. That'd be like playing an orc barbarian that has a strength of 10.
Cody, you played a gunslinger. There was no use for charisma. You had guns.
I still use charisma for other things, thank you very much.
So, for the non-nerdy listeners out there, D&D
I thought we
Dungeons
were
and
put stuff on
Dragons.
silent, Chris.
That's your fault.
How's that my fault?
Because Jurassic World is now the highest grossing film of 2015, according to the alert that I just got. But anyway, yes, it should have been on silent. That's my fault.
Jurassic Park just needs to beat Blue Pocahontas. That's all I have to say.
As much as I would like to see that happen, I don't think that's going to come anywhere close.
Yeah, I think it's still very, very far away.
It's about $500 million away.
Oh, good lord.
Because right now I think the last time I looked, I think it was 1.511 billion worldwide, and Avatar is 2 billion and some odd. So
didn't me and you go see Avatar when it came out in theaters?
Yes, back when we still had the tradition of going to see movies at 9 o'clock at night.
True, but again, I wasn't working on Saturdays. But anyway, I remember walking out of that movie, and I was just kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
I was like, it was pretty.
Exactly.
It was,
was very pretty.
That's pretty much all I had going for it.
The only thing that comes to my mind when I think of that movie is the general villain in it. I want him to play Cable.
That would actually make me happy, yes.
I saw Avatar in the theater too. I don't really remember back then seeing a whole lot about it. I just remember the hype. And
anything James Cameron had a lot of hype.
Well, that maybe that was what it was. But I went and saw it in 3D, and it was. I think that was at the very beginning. That was like at the very beginning of the 3D thing before everything was in 3D or converted into 3D later.
Or that weird.
And I think that gimmick, the 3D gimmick, being as new as it was, is what got $2 billion and some odd dollars worth of people to go see that movie.
Speaking of 3D, honestly, the first movie I saw in the new, what was it called? Real 3D is what they were calling it.
Yeah, the Real D 3D.
Yeah, the first one I saw was the Pixar movie Up, and that had some amazing 3D to it. I've seen movies in 3D that it's like, oh, here's one thing that you can honestly tell is 3D. The rest of the movie is just like nothing.
Was it Clash or Wrath of the Titans that had the reputation of being the worst 3D?
I think it was Wrath of the Titans. And then also we can speak of that awful movie, The Last Airbender, that had really crappy 3D, and also movie. The entire movie was just awful.
I never saw The Last Airbender in 3D, but I liked that movie.
You are one of the only three.
I never saw The Last Airbender, but you're also kicked off the podcast again.
You can't kick me off.
We can if you generally like a terrible movie. That'd be like somebody saying, oh, you know that Dragon Ball movie that came out? That was a really good movie.
I had successfully forgotten about that. Thank you for that.
When that movie originally came out on DVD, I found it in the $5 bin at Walmart the very same day. That's how terrible that movie was.
So while you were running down Avatar
The Last
Airbender. I was looking up the list for the worldwide box office all-time gross. So Avatar all-time worldwide was $2,788,000,000, and Jurassic World as of right now is at $1,513,500,000.
So it's getting close to beating the Avengers.
It will almost certainly beat the Avengers and land probably at number 3 behind Titanic and Avatar.
So it's going to be James Cameron, Jurassic Park.
It's literally $6.10 right now from beating the Avengers.
So you have one guy walks in to watch the movie right now.
That's 6,000.
Oh. Yeah,
that's billions and millions right there.
I don't think it's made $1,500.
One guy walks in there and likes the movie so much he just throws like $10 billion at the screen and says, "Here, beat Avatar."
Right. Hey, I would do it if I had $1 billion.
Yeah.
Speaking of throwing money at the screen, apparently that was actually happening in screenings of Magic Mike.
What?
Yeah, women were throwing money at the screen like it was an actual strip club.
That's terrifying.
I wish this was a video podcast for Christmas.
Hold on. I don't know if anybody can hear that.
Our special guest is here.
Hopefully you can, and it's not just sitting here in silence for no reason. But that was the black Mustang that haunts my very existence. It used to live across the street, and now it doesn't anymore, but it still drives through here. When that car lived across the street from me, every 5 minutes, I swear to God, every 5 minutes, all hours of every single day, day and night, 2 a.m. in the morning, 10 a.m., there it goes again. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't matter. That car revving back and forth up and down the street. I don't want to say the guy's a drug dealer because I don't want to get sued, but I'm not going to say his name anyway. But that dude is up to something, and I would be okay with that. I don't have a problem whatsoever if he's running meth or weed or whatever he's doing. I just hate his car, and I hope that one day, while he's not in the car, preferably, because I don't wish harm upon anybody, but I hope one day he gets home and he parks his car in the middle of an open field where no one will get hurt and the son of a bitch explodes and I never have to hear it again. But anyway, carry on.
I know a guy that would take care of that for you for about $10,000, but whatever.
You were talking about Avatar or something like that? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I just know the hatred of the Mustang now.
The hatred runs deep, I'm telling you.
It does. As pretty much every time I'm over here, I hear that thing like 3 or 4 times.
You will probably hear it again very soon. Give it about 5 minutes. That car will be back through here.
It's like having a fire alarm go off at 3 a.m. for no reason, and then going off 20 minutes later, and then 2 hours from now, and then 3 days from now, and then 2 more hours then.
It's not as bad as a fire alarm.
No, it is when you don't want to hear it. That'd be like, I really want to get some nice sleep, and then somebody just releases a cage full of parakeets into your room.
Do you have experience with a cage full of parakeets being released into your room?
No, but I have been at a friend's house, and everybody was partying and stuff like that, and the only other place to sleep was on a beanbag. So I was like, okay, I'm sleeping on this beanbag. I'm tired. Everybody's still partying in the living room. And then another person there that I knew, he was like, "Hey, scoot over. I want to sleep on the beanbag." And I'm like, "How are 2 people going to sleep on the beanbag? I've already been for sleep at like 2 hours at this point." And he wakes me up trying to freaking just scoot me over to sleep on the beanbag with me. 2 full-grown people trying to sleep on a beanbag is not comfortable. I just was like, "Get off! You're sleeping on the floor." And I just pushed him over.
What did this have to do with my parakeet question?
It pretty much anytime something wakes you up, it's annoying as hell. That's what I was trying to get at in that long, convoluted story.
I say we release parakeets in Cody's room.
You do that, I'm just going to go and buy a bulk bag of crickets at a feed store or a bait store. I'm going to release them inside your car.
You are the Satan incarnate.
Oh.
Is it the goatee?
Yes it is.
You don't mess with a man's car, though. That's like a huge overreaction. That's way more than...
You don't mess with me in sleep.
But your sleep... how much money have you put into your sleep versus how much money he's put into his car?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Also, you lose a taxi driver then.
Oh. Speaking of taxi drivers,
Charles in charge.
this is not related to anything we've talked about so far, but yesterday I was going to walk to work. I don't live that far. It's about a mile because my car was out. And anyway, so I was going to walk to work. It was about 102 degrees, but I had already come to terms with it, and I was fine with it. I don't mind walking. So I got me a little bottle of water, and I was walking to work. And I didn't make it very far. I know the people that are listening to this can't see it, but I was up that hill right there. And it's about 100 yards. Would you say it's about 100 yards, about halfway
If
up that
that.
hill? If that. And this lady pulled up behind me, and she was like, "Excuse me, but it's hot outside and you're wearing black. Would you like a ride?" And I was like, "Yes, I would. Thank you very much." And so, this lady's probably not listening to me right now, but it doesn't matter. Thank you to the lady who gave me a ride to work yesterday. She didn't have to do that. Now, when we got to my work, she wanted to complain about something that had happened to her there a couple of days ago. That was kind of awkward. But she runs the local taxi service. I didn't find that out until we got there, and she handed me her card, and she was like, "If you ever need a ride again, here's my card. I'm the local taxi service." And she gave me the ride for free, so I gave her a couple of dollars so she'd get her something to eat or drink or whatever. But that was very nice. So I wanted to balance out my angry rant at the terrible Mustang with a positive story, because people say I'm too negative. So I have balanced that out with a positive story. Thank you to the lady who gave me a ride to work yesterday when it was 102 degrees outside.
Chris, would you like to hug now?
I would not. I don't like to be touched.
Touch.
I'm going to go shower while y'all finish the podcast.
Well, back to the negativity.
Apparently we're really dirty.
Back to the negativity. I look over at Cody's phone, and he shows me that My Little Pony has now blasphemed Dr. Horrible.
But it was adorable. Come on.
Now,
Speaking of My Little Pony, though, tell us what you were telling us before before we started about how many likes we have on Facebook right now, which I think
I think it's at 41 right now.
41.
I checked it about an hour ago.
Let me double check because I think you're right, but we have 41. And what is it that you told us before we went on the air here?
Oh yeah, there's a comic I read on Facebook that's based on My Little Pony, and it actually has 200 and somewhat more likes than we do.
And in how many days?
It's been up for about 4 or 5 days now.
What's the name of this comic so I can look it up real quick?
Brownie Bun, aka the Horsewife, I think.
and let me get this completely straight, because we started this argument before and decided to hold it for the podcast.
No.
Brownie Bun, a.k.a. the Horsewife.
It's a man married to a My Little Pony, correct?
Kind of.
So, hold on. They have 252 likes, and we have 41.
Yeah.
And our Facebook page has been active for a little bit longer.
About 2
weeks
now.
I just want you to know, I was super excited when I looked on our Facebook page today, and I saw that we had got 3 more likes this week, and we were at 41, and then you had to sit there and pretty much destroy my hopes and dreams by telling me that this page that's been on here for 4 days has 212 more likes than we do.
Okay, in its defense, the Brony community is really large, and any new thing that comes up that, a lot of people start liking, they share it between all the different groups. So, there's a group, something or other, Derpy, all the different, state Brony things. A lot of the other main pony things also shared it.
For the people who don't know what that is, tell us what a brownie is.
It's just people in their adult age that like My Little Pony. Mainly men. A lot of the females in the community go by Pegasisters.
So, you belong to some of these online communities, is that correct?
Yes. Am I being interviewed?
No, but
This is an intervention.
It's not. It's no judgment zone, because here's what I want to have happen. Cody belongs to how many? How many would you say?
Facebook wise, 4, 3.
And you told me there was a message board or something like that too.
Yeah, you're just pretty much free to share anything, fan art, fan videos, just something you saw that you liked, or if you have your own page or community that you want to share, then you can.
Okay, so and I'm not gonna I know what you're thinking. I'm not gonna sit here and rag on you for it. This is no judgment zone.
It feels like you're forcing yourself to say that.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Because here's what I want to have happen. I want you to get those 252 people to like my Facebook page.
I mean, I can try. I'm not really, that's just one person. I'm not going to go up and be like, hey, can I post this? But I can to the local Arkansas chapter. I can post it on that, and then, a bunch of the gaming stuff I'm up for.
And speaking of, if you're hearing this, if you found this just on SoundCloud and you didn't come from the Facebook page or the Twitter, we are on Facebook, facebook.com/Eye of the Hurricane Podcast. We are also on Twitter, at EOH Podcast. I don't think we have very many followers on Twitter yet, but it hasn't been on there for very long.
I followed today just before the podcast.
Well,
Nice. Good job.
but
You should follow too. Oh, wait.
I can't help it that I don't like Twitter.
Because you're an old man.
No, I would never get on there. I mean, look how long it took me to actually start being more active on Facebook.
well, hopefully your activities on Facebook and on these other pages, these people will see that one of their own has a voice and is on a podcast and will come and like our page. And I'm not going to beg, but please like our page and listen to our podcast because Cody is a brony.
Speaking of, active on the stuff, one of the people sitting at this table right now is barely active on our Facebook page.
I wouldn't even say barely. He made one post.
I think 2.
I think it was 2, yes.
I only remember the one, but Cody's right. You need to be more active on the Facebook.
I rarely get on Facebook, and I at least make 1 or 2 posts a day. You can do at least that. You're on Facebook all the time.
The only problem is I post stuff that I feel is worth sharing, and that's very rare on Facebook.
Quality over quantity. I mean, I have the same philosophy, but I share a lot more. I guess because I find more things funny or worthy of sharing. But
See, that's how I am too. If I see something, mainly news-wise, or if I just see a funny picture.
so if you do happen to see a post on our Facebook page from Matt, savor it, because that means that he thought that it was worth sharing, and that's a rare thing apparently.
Savor it like $200 sushi. And then there was silence.
And
Our first awkward silence of no, I think that was the second one because you got me earlier too.
I did
That's
have a
true.
thought that I lost, but I'll think of it in a minute.
Related to what?
Are you going to hate on me for something again?
No, but it didn't. I remember now. Have you found any depressing news on BBC today?
Yeah, apparently there was a
Hold
large...
And now it's time for Cody's depressing news of the week.
There was a large bombing in Turkey. It killed about 30 people.
What?
Yeah.
For those of you that might not know Cody, he's on BBC every day, and for some reason only decides to tell us about the most depressing things he finds.
It's the news. That's all the news is. If I wanted good news, I would just look at funny cat pictures on Google.
It's the BBC. They're always at least upbeat about at least one thing, which you could share with us, but no.
But
you feel the need to bring us all down.
all their good news is usually on soccer matches, and I'm the only person at this table that actually watches soccer.
That's perfectly fine. I'd rather be neutral to something than depressed.
But we might have soccer fans listening, so tell us about soccer.
And now it's time for Cody's happy news of the day.
I haven't actually been keeping up with the most recent matches, so I honestly don't know.
You have failed us, Cody.
I'm sorry. I just haven't really. I watched bits of last night's matches, but it was overhead at a Chili's, and I couldn't even see the actual score. I think it was Mexico versus somebody.
You have failed our new segment that I just invented for you.
Was that when we were at Chili's a couple of weeks ago?
No, this was yesterday after I was bowling.
So you went bowling and went to Chili's, but you couldn't go see Ant-Man with us?
But you didn't go see Ant-Man yesterday. You went on Friday.
Also, you were supposed to come over and hang out yesterday.
Yeah, but I forgot I actually hadn't made these plans prior until my buddy Steven texted me. Actually, he called me while I was at work on Sunday, and he's like, "Hey, still going bowl?" And I was like, "Yeah." Oh crap, podcast. I forgot about the podcast. And then like an hour later, I saw you post, "Oh, podcast is postponed." And I was like, "Okay, that works out then."
I thought you were about to say that you just forgot about Chris, and I was like, you are a terrible person.
See, I'm not you. I don't forget about people.
I didn't forget about people.
Want a hug?
No, not really.
Oh.
So to help us recover from Cody's story about 30 people dying in a bombing, I was scrolling through the Facebook, or my Facebook, and I saw this post that says, strippers are making $100,000 a year and driving your dream car, and here you are struggling because you got morals.
So what you're saying is we should become strippers?
It seems like a pretty good idea now at this point, doesn't it?
Cody, what are you doing? No. No, put it away!
I'm just pretty sure I'm not confident in my body to become a stripper.
Why are there two?
It's because I'm fat.
Speaking of strippers, though, there was another segment that Cody was supposed to do, and in true Cody fashion, he forgot. It was Cody's Urban Dictionary Word of the Week.
In my defense, we talked about it once, and then it was never brought up again until 20 minutes before we started this.
So this was actually a suggestion by somebody on our Facebook page. I put a message out there if you had any suggestions or questions or comments or anything that you wanted to address on the air, that we would do that. And let me go to the message here. I don't remember who sent me this message, and I can't find it.
We apologize. We'll mention you next time we find your name.
I was going to read the message. But anyways, this person suggested that we teach our older listeners the words that young people use today. So we figured we would do like a word of the week type thing from Urban Dictionary.
Technically, they learned two because they learned what a brony was. So there you go.
That's not.
It still counts.
It counts, but it's not like everyday lingo that young people use. So today's word, I think we decided was going to be the word.
Cody? I honestly don't even remember.
We just talked about this 20 minutes ago.
And?
Today's Urban Dictionary word of the week is the word thought. T-H-O-T. Thought. And I will now read you the definition of the word thought from the Urban Dictionary. It is a noun, and a thought is an individual with a number of concurrent sex partners that is well above the established cultural norm. Urban Dictionary goes on to say these individuals have coitus for the purpose of sexual pleasure, approval, or to fill an emotional void. These individuals may or may not have sexually transmitted infections. However, this term still applies to whores with safe sex practices.
Matt.
These acts are not for the exchange of illicit narcotics or monetary or economic gain as observed in prostitutes, crackheads, junkies, or gold diggers. It is important to note that one's sexual indiscretions must be well known within the community in order for one's thought status to be identifiable. The term itself is of urban origins, translates to the acronym THOT, which stands for that hoe over there. Unfortunately, due to the gender inequality of this term, it is largely attributed to females. However, males can also exhibit thought-alike behavior and should be identified as such. So there you go. This week's Urban Dictionary word of the week was thought.
The more you know.
And shooting star.
And apparently Chris is now Cody.
Yeah, well, at least for this week. I'll step on my game for the next one.
Here's a pair of glasses. Begin talking about My Little Pony, please.
That is not all I talk about.
I forgot. Hey, don't make fun of Cody. Here, I feel like I should say something embarrassing as well. So, to make up for it, because I feel like you think we're making fun of me, which I'm not. I haven't said anything. Matt, maybe. I don't know. I can't speak for Matt. But
Matt always makes fun of me.
I have not made fun of you. But if it makes you feel any better, I spent about 3 hours last night laying on my couch after work watching The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody and The Amazing World of Gumball. So, there you go.
In your defense, Gumball is amazing, and you're welcome.
What?
I introduced Gumball to you and Coburn, so...
You introduced nothing.
I did.
I found it on Hulu. It was on my watched list.
Because I watched it.
Do you have anything to add to the discussion about thoughts, Cody?
I actually kind of do, but it's not actually on the word thought. Just the word itself reminded me of a story and another Urban Dictionary word I never knew about. A friend of mine was walking around Walmart, and I think you heard this story when we were in Hot Springs, but he was walking around Walmart with a friend of his, and a heavier set man was walking next to him, and he walked up and whispered, it was like, "Do you want some strange?" He looked at him confusingly.
God, this story.
And continued walking. He didn't know what he was talking about, so he went up and looked it up online. Apparently, strange is soliciting intercourse with a stranger in like a public place and stuff like that. Just walking up and being like, I'm just going to buy some Cheetos, and a person walks up to you and is like, "Hey, you want some strange?" And I was like, I never knew what that was. I'm glad I've never had somebody ask me that while I was walking in Walmart.
Would it also be more awkward just because you're holding Cheetos? I don't know why, but...
So I guess we're going to get a bonus word this week, because while Cody was telling his story, I looked up the word strange on the Urban Dictionary. And according to Urban Dictionary, the word strange is a piece of ass that you get in addition to your regular woman. So now you've learned 2 new words this week. It was either Deanna or Bonnie. I don't remember exactly who sent me that message, and I apologize. I'm very, very sorry that I don't remember because I can't find the message.
Also, you're mentioning this right after we were talking about strange.
So, but anyhow, no, no. No offense to the ladies in question, but no.
It was just awkward timing, and you are beat red. You're welcome.
I'm beat red because it's 150 degrees in this room.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen Chris this uncomfortable.
I know, right? How about Eiffel Tower?
Eiffel Tower. Wow, that went crazy on the mic.
I really wish I could find that message so I could attribute the proper credit. So if it was you, go ahead and send me another message and we'll shout out to you next week when we do next week's Urban Dictionary Word of the Week.
Matt will sing you a little song.
How about no?
Okay, thank you.
Was there... I was looking over my notes because now we're starting to kind of ramble a little bit, and I had an outline of topics written down in case we came to this point. Because we still got about 20, 25 more minutes or so. And going back to what we talked about earlier with the Comic-Con leaks, which one... Because there was 5 that I saw that I was kind of excited about. Deadpool was one. We already talked about X-Men Apocalypse. But then there was also the Batman v Superman, the Fantastic Four, and the trailer for next season of The Walking Dead. Did y'all see all of those or no?
Yes, and out of all of them, I've always been a big Walking Dead person. I'm excited about this season. I don't know about y'all, but I honestly think he might be a main character. I honestly think Rick is going to end up dead by the end of the season.
Really?
Yes.
That's a pretty bold prediction.
Why do you believe this? Because as someone who hasn't seen the trailer for Walking Dead,
no, I've seen it twice now.
As
He said
someone who
Oh,
hasn't
you?
seen the
Oh,
Matt
trailer,
hasn't seen the trailer.
Okay, I didn't know you were referencing yourself. Steadily over the course of the past few seasons, he's kind of went in and out of sanity, and like after you watch the trailer, you can see he's kind of on that beaten path where he's kind of lost focus between actually helping people and his definition of helping people.
I definitely think, and I guess it's going to be spoiler since you haven't seen the trailer, but I definitely see where they're setting up kind of where it's going to be the Rick's group, whatever you want to call them. I couldn't think of a name for them, but
The Ricketies?
Rick's group.
I like the Ricketies.
With kind of Daryl, it seems like he's going to float out on his own. I guess it kind of that's the way the trailer seems like to me. But it seems like they're setting up for Rick's group versus the Alexandria group led by Morgan,
Which I know no one probably knows this except for you two, but probably one of my favorites, not only from the comics but from the early days of the show. I was really hoping he was going to return last season, but we kind of lost that.
He was in 2 episodes last season.
That counts as a return.
Kind of, but
But you've heard it here first, folks. The Walking Dead Civil War.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of, because it's Rick and his people are wanting to take over Alexandria, which we know that's what they're calling it because I saw the sign in the trailer. I don't think they mentioned it by name. Did they last season?
I don't think, but don't quote me on that.
They may have. I don't remember, but I definitely saw the sign in the trailer. But it's definitely going to be Rick and his people,
Most of his people.
seemingly minus Daryl, versus Morgan and the Alexandria people.
Like, the only other person I'm kind of iffy on is probably some of the randoms that they added to, like people that are not really main characters of Rick's group. Names are slipping my mind right now, but they're probably going to be on the fence, kind of like Daryl. If Daryl doesn't just go off on his own, he might end up being against Rick, by what I can tell from the trailer.
Well, they kind of made it seem like in the trailer that Daryl, and I don't know how much of the season that trailer covers, probably just the first half maybe, but the scenes with Daryl, and it may all just be one episode, I don't know, but
Yeah.
the trailer kind of seemed like they were setting it up for Daryl to leave off on his own, and it's probably, because I think he was scouting, he was doing the scouting thing with the other guy whose name I don't remember, but so that may be what he's doing, but I feel like, because they're bringing the wolves in this time, and I haven't read the comics, so I don't know a whole lot about the wolves, but I know a little bit about what happens there.
Just know they're scary. That's all you need to know.
But it seems like they're setting up that Civil War thing within Alexandria, and then as kind of, I guess, a side story, Daryl and the wolves is what it seems like to me.
Do you think Daryl's going to join the wolves? Like, I can kind of see that, but then again, Daryl never really existed in the comics. I don't know how that would affect the flow. Also,
before we continue, so I'm not completely lost and barely know anything on the comics, what are the wolves?
How would you describe them? Like a pack of I can't remember. I think they're ex-bikers, but
okay,
they're just a wandering gang almost that clashes with Rick's group later in the, like, I think after issue 100 is when they start showing up.
Are these the same people led by Negan?
By what?
Negan.
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
Do you remember last season when they were, I think it was when the little black kid, what was his name? Everybody Hates Chris. When Everybody Hates Chris died at the mall or the warehouse or whatever it was.
Are you talking about that kid that came from the hospital?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was that guy's name?
Noah. His name was
Noah.
I still think we should refer to him as Everybody Hates Chris.
I think it was there, but I may be wrong, but they came across that minivan that was full of dead bodies, and they had the W's carved into their foreheads.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I may be remembering this completely wrong, because it's been a while since I watched it, but
It was a semi, not a minivan, but
the zombies that had the W's carved into their heads was like the hint, I guess, that the wolves were coming. And like I said, I haven't read much of the comics, so I don't know a whole lot about the wolves. I thought that was Negan's group also.
I'm really behind on it, so, like...
But I know that they're not good people. They're
No.
not cool. I don't think Daryl... I mean, I don't know, but I don't think Daryl will join.
Daryl doesn't have good luck joining good groups.
Exactly. He kind of tends to move towards people that are kind of like the people he hung out with before the world ended. And he kind of hung out with the wrong crowd, so he kind of leans towards joining the wrong crowd most of the time.
I mean, from the references they've thrown off, essentially what AMC's been hinting at is that his drug dealer was Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I don't know.
Which, that would be an interesting crossover if they decided to end Breaking Bad instead of the way it did with...
They also...
with Heisenberg's meth causing the zombie apocalypse.
Well, there's always the opportunity to do that in Fear the Walking Dead, because Fear the Walking Dead is going to cover the days before and leading up to and the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. So maybe freaking the meth.
Heisenberg drives to LA for some reason.
Right.
I'm really excited about that. I'm wondering how that's going to go.
That is a mini series, right?
I think so. I think it's supposed to be 6 episodes. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I can look it up
Power of the internet.
while you continue talking about something. So, did you see the... I know you saw the Fantastic Four trailer when we went and saw an Ant-Man, but have you seen the new Fantastic Four trailer?
I haven't got a chance to look it up yet.
Wait, that was the Comic-Con trailer that you were excited about?
That particular one was not.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think...
Because that was just another Fantastic Four trailer that didn't leave an impression on me. I'm like, okay, it looks like a gritty version of the old Jessica Alba one.
Yeah, I don't think that was the same one that I saw. But I will say, when stuff started originally coming out about that movie, I thought it was going to be horrible. And it may still be. And I think that a lot of people probably feel that same way. I didn't hate the other two Fantastic Four movies. I know a lot of people hated them. There's a lot of hate for the Fantastic Four movies. I thought they were okay. I mean, they weren't the greatest movies in the world, but this movie I was not into at all. Like, I just felt like they're throwing something together just to do it, and then...
Well, they need to retain the rights.
Well, right, because... And it's not the first time that would have happened. But that's what I thought was happening. And the more stuff I saw of it, the more I thought, this is just going to be terrible. It's going to suck. And they started talking about the new characters, and this is something that people either you love it or you hate it. But the new Human Torch, I did not see the point in that. It is what it is. I did not see the point in that myself personally, but because that, to me, that's just too big of a change from a hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what your opinions on that are. We haven't talked about it, but to me,
I've honestly not been paying attention.
that to me was unnecessary. An unnecessary change.
Right, because Sue Storm and Johnny Storm are brother and sister in the comics and in the movies and most other Fantastic Four media. And then they changed Johnny Storm to a black man, which could somehow be brother and sister through adoption, but...
That's why I've heard. Like, apparently they're, like, one of them are going to be adopted. Like, the parents are going to...
I mean, that's alright if they just keep them brother and sister, but it's
as long as
just
it works out somehow.
It's an odd decision for a change.
Right. But and I think it is adoption. I think that's what the trailer kind of was hinting at that I saw. But anyway, the new footage that I've been seeing of it, I'm still kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Hesitant about it, because it may very well be the worst movie ever made. But I will at least give it a shot, because the new footage and stuff that I've seen of it, it actually caught my interest enough to give it a shot, and I probably won't see it in theaters, but I'll watch it.
No, the worst movie ever made, I'm sorry I have to interrupt this flow of the conversation, but the worst movie ever made is Sharknado 2.
No, Sharknado 2 was actually entertaining. You've shown me horrible things called Pink Flamingos. That is the worst thing ever
I've
made.
always told you to watch Pink Flamingos.
And I
You've
still
never
refuse.
have. Oh, Mr. Eggman, don't you ever stop selling them eggs.
Are you sure that Sharknado 3 is not the worst movie ever made?
Sharknado 3 is going to be awesome.
I haven't seen it. We saw a 2-minute trailer of it.
When your subtitle is "Oh hell no,"
Not again or something like that.
no, the subtitle is literally "Oh hell no."
Okay, we saw a 2-minute spoiler for it, seeing a riff tracks of Sharknado 2, which, to explain what riff tracks is, it's the guys behind Mystery Science Theater 3000. But they showed a 2-minute trailer for Sharknado 3 before the showing, and sharks on roller coasters. That's all I'm going to say.
Sharks on roller coasters.
Also, to answer your question, because I was looking it up, apparently Fear the Walking Dead is not a miniseries, because they greenlit the pilot series and it's a 2-season commitment right now with AMC. So
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
it'll be 2 seasons at least.
Well, I wouldn't say very nice until we're actually sure how good it's going to be.
True, but it's AMC and it's The Walking Dead. Most shows that are on AMC are pretty good.
It could be a zombie NATO.
I highly doubt that. I don't think AMC would greenlit something
Zombie
like that.
Sharknado.
That sounds stupid as hell.
That sounds awful.
I saw a movie on Netflix that was called Zombievers, and it's about zombie beavers.
Yeah, I've seen that previewed. I don't want to see that. Honestly, the worst movie I've ever seen was, I can't remember the exact title to it, but it was a sequel. The subtitle to it was Bungalow of the Damned.
I know what you're talking. I don't remember it either, but there is some weird stuff on Netflix. There is a movie. You remember that movie about the tire, the haunted tire?
Rubber. Best movie of the year.
I never watched it. Isn't it in French?
I don't think so. I think it's in English, but it came out the same year as Hobo with a Shotgun.
You guys keep referring to these as bad movies, and while they might be bad in their quality, they're still providing you entertainment. because you can
I
sit
actually
there and
like
make
both.
fun.
I actually like both those movies because they're so strange. You know me and strange things.
I didn't say that it was a bad movie. I just said it was.
Strange.
It's weird. There's like weird zombie beavers and haunted tires and shit like that. That's weird to me. I mean, it's not something that you would think. Like, I'm going to write a movie. What should I write a movie about? Oh, I'm going to make a movie about a pair of haunted mini blinds. I couldn't think of the word.
I would actually see that movie.
Chris has
Haunted
found
Bones.
Chris has found the title of the worst movie I've ever watched on Netflix. Chris,
Yeah,
The name of the movie actually is Bachelor Party in the Bungalow of the Damned. And now I have to ask you, why in the hell you would even be watching this movie to begin with?
okay, me and two of my friends kind of have a thing going on where we just watch terrible movies on Netflix.
Not these two friends, by the way.
No, two different people I know.
I'm totally down for it if you're making fun of them, though.
What do you mean?
If you're sitting there and just Mystery Science...
Oh yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. By the end of this movie, I had a headache. That's how terrible this movie was. You know me, I will give a movie a benefit of the doubt. I've seen movies that no one else has liked and I've liked.
Well,
this movie made me want to gouge out my eyes with my fingernails.
some movies, was it horrible because it was meant to be horrible, or were they trying to make a good movie and it just sucked?
They were trying to make a good horror movie that sucked.
Because some movies are meant to be that way. Snakes on a Plane, I don't think people realize was meant to be, I guess, awful. I don't want to say awful. I actually like Snakes on a Plane
I do
quite a
too.
bit.
I like it for what it is.
Exactly.
But then there are movies
Unless
that
it's on
are
the
terrible
price.
because they weren't supposed to be terrible and they were supposed to be funny or good or whatever. And the worst movie that I have ever seen in my entire life was Freddy Got Fingered. I didn't even finish the movie. I stopped watching when he was helicoptering a newborn baby by the umbilical cord in the hospital.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages?
No, I would not.
This is why we don't mention Freddy Got Fingered in
Oh
front
no,
of Cody.
that movie is terrible.
That movie was horrible.
That movie was terrible.
I don't have words to describe how horrible that movie was. I really don't. Horrible is being nice.
I have two words to describe it. Tom Green.
But see, Tom Green, okay, I don't like Tom Green, but everything that he's in is not horrible. I liked Road Trip.
That's true.
Road Trip was
good.
pretty good.
I don't remember anything else he's in. So
I do like one of his songs. I'm gonna throw the piggy off the hill.
don't do more than 30 seconds because we'll get sued.
And we will be the podcast that got sued by Tom Green. That is
The
how
podcast with 41 likes on Facebook that got sued by Tom Green.
But it's Tom
You-
Green,
you
so
can-
he probably needs the money.
You can just edit me actually saying the words out.
No.
Why, too much work for you?
Yes, that's exactly why. I've already I don't think you realize what a freaking headache this whole thing has been for me from, I won't say from the very beginning, but from the point where we decided that it was going to be something we were actually going to do up until right now when we sat down to do it, it has been a nightmare. that thing over there, and the people at home listening can't see it, but that thing over there that I spent $100 on that doesn't work.
A box of magic cards?
No. That podcast studio thing over there on top of the box of magic cards.
The box of Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
No. So I bought that thing. It comes in. It doesn't work. I ordered 2 of these microphones. They both came from the same seller. One of them came from Ohio. I'm still waiting on the other one because it's coming from China. So in addition to all that, there is... I'm just it was a headache. Do you remember how we came up with this idea, by the way?
I, again, honestly don't remember.
We were on our way. We were in the car, and we were with our friend Micah and our other friend Cole, and we were in the car, and Matt might have been with us. Were you with us?
No, I don't. No, wait.
I don't think so, because I was brought on
later.
later.
It was me, you, Micah, and Cobra. I think we were leaving Hastings.
Well, it was either on the way to or from Hastings and Benton. And we were on the interstate, and Micah, who hopefully will get in here on one of these here pretty soon, was rambling about something absolutely insane.
It was something very disgusting. I remember that.
I don't remember exactly what he was talking about, but somehow the conversation led to another conversation about somebody using the oil from their face as lube.
That was it.
So
that was it.
I don't know how this conversation got to this point, but it was Micah, and like I said, hopefully we can get him on here so we can hear these
ongoings of his
just
mind.
Absolute crazy stuff that he says.
Speaking of Micah, he was the other person he was one of the people that watched Bungalow of the Damned. It was me, him, and Sierra.
Well, this conversation that Micah was having about using the oil off your face as lube is what led to the idea, because we were laughing our asses off in this car, and I don't remember who said it, but somebody said we should be recording this right now, and that's how the idea started. But that I guess you can blame Micah if this thing is awesome or if it sucks. Either way, it's Micah's fault because of that whole scenario.
Make sure to blame him.
Also, with the discussion of the podcast creation, I think we just went way past PG-13 that we were shooting.
I'm pretty sure I think the entire thing should just bleep. But hey, I got something fun for you.
Okay.
While you were sitting there talking about Fantastic Four, I kind of lost my train of thought. I was texting a friend of mine that asked me, what was the name of a song I showed him yesterday? The song I showed him was Under My Kilt.
Oh, God.
He loved it. And I still don't understand why you don't like it.
Because it's horrible.
It's a techno dance song from the early 90s involving a guy singing about his underkilt.
Just because I saw who Cody was texting, Robert, if you're listening right now, I'm unfriending you on Facebook.
Also, don't forget to like on Facebook.
I don't like the song because the song is stupid and annoying and ridiculous.
Every Europop dance song.
I think I can get away. I think I can get away with playing. I don't know what the limit is, so I'm going to play like 10 seconds of this song.
I believe it's 10 seconds.
I think it is too.
10 seconds. Remember, I think that's what. Or when we were
So,
doing a video in high school.
if you want to hear this song on your own time, because I'm not going to play the whole thing, but if you like this for
Dr.
some
Magoo.
weird reason, it's called Under the Kilt, and it's by a person. I think it's a dude named Dr. What is it? Dr. Macdoo. Macdoo.
He also goes by Dr. Bombay.
Okay. So, if for some bizarre reason this 10 seconds of ear assaulting
You
terribleness
might get because the opening is just the beat.
Is your cup of tea, then Dr. Macdoo Under the Kilt is the name of this video on YouTube. It has 3,515 views. So 515 of those are probably Cody, which means there's 3,000 other sickos out there who like this garbage. I'm going to skip ahead in the song a little bit because apparently there's an intro.
Okay, shut off. It's way too... No.
May never get it from me, no.
That's not even the worst part of the song. That's not even the worst part of the song, but I'm not going to play any more of it. But
in case you're wondering, I am now suffocating Cody so it will stop singing this.
we got about 10 more minutes here. We talked about something else that I had wrote down over here, because we were talking about the Comic-Con trailers and whatnot, and Spider-Man and all that. And we talked about Punisher and Civil War. But speaking of Civil War, and I think me and you talked about this in the car when we went and saw Ant-Man without Cody. You remember I mentioned that I thought maybe they might kill off Captain America.
Yes.
In Civil War.
I don't think they will.
Well, in the comics, right at the end of the Civil War, Captain America, I think he surrenders. He goes to trial. While he's walking up the steps,
by somebody.
He gets assassinated. Spoiler alert for if you haven't read a 10-year-old comic by now.
Yeah.
But
somebody paid off by Red Skull. That's all.
I can tell you exactly who it was with a picture that I'm going to show you. And I know the people at home can't see this, so I'm going to post it to our Facebook Wednesday when this airs. But look who is in the Civil War movie.
Crossbones.
Yep.
It's Crossbones.
Actually, I have to see real quick.
And I will post, like I said, I'll post this picture on our Facebook so you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But this character, Crossbones, is the guy who assassinates Captain America in the Civil War comic, and he is 100% confirmed in the Civil War movie. And I'm looking at a picture right now of him fighting Captain America on the set of Civil War.
Which, in the Civil War comics, I don't think Crossbones showed up until that scene. Like, he wasn't actually in the fighting at any point, right?
Because in my collected edition that I bought to catch up on Civil War, because I had never read it, it literally ends with the Captain America surrendering scene. And no assassination, nothing. I didn't even know Crossbones was in it.
Yeah, it's an after thing. Like, it happens after the Civil War arc, like when the trial's about to start.
So, based on what happened in the comics and which character it was and what was involved and whatnot, I think Captain America Civil War will end with Crossbones assassinating Captain America.
And then after that, the Punisher picks up Captain America's uniform and becomes... What was he called when he did that?
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember, but that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Punisher became Captain America
yes,
at one
for
point.
A very short time.
Yeah.
And he was amazing.
I don't think he called himself Captain America.
He went by a different name.
He had... His outfit was like based on Captain America. I think he had the shield too. I think he was carrying the shield, and once Bucky came in and took over, again, if you haven't read the 10-year-old comic, this is a spoiler, but Bucky came in as the new Cap, and the Punisher gave Bucky the shield.
Make sure you post that also.
Yeah, so I'll post that picture and the picture of Crossbones. But
I know it's the Punisher, but that is the biggest gun I have ever seen in my life.
But I actually have some of the comics in that box. Well,
the one in the living room?
The one in the other room has some of the comics, including the one where he gives Bucky the shield and Bucky becomes Captain America. Which I think Falcon is Captain America now, isn't he?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyhow.
It's hard to keep up with that kind of stuff.
So, we're coming up. We got about, 7-8 minutes left. We talked about Captain America, Punisher. Which Punisher I think is going to be in Daredevil too, right?
Yeah, yes.
What if? And I don't know if they're filming Daredevil right now or not. But what if instead of Punisher in Civil War, what if that picture of Tom Holland is actually Spider-Man in Daredevil?
Or both?
It could be both. But
that would be awesome because Spider-Man is based in New York, like Daredevil.
Most Marvel comics are, I think.
Speaking of Spider-Man, what was that movie that the new kid that's playing Spider-Man we watched on Netflix? What was the name of that movie again?
The one about the tsunami?
No, the other. Well, I haven't seen that one yet, but
the one about
World War III.
The name of that movie was
How I Live Now.
How I Live. I think that How I Live Now. I think was the name of it.
Which, if you like, kind of, how would you describe that movie? Like suspenseful, alternate, worldly.
I'm not. I mean, it's an
Romance.
indie movie. It's an indie movie. It's a little bit of romance. It's a little bit of. I mean, it's got some sad moments in it. It was a good movie if you like indie movies. The only part of it that I didn't like was the fact that the chick and the dude were cousins.
Yeah, but for it to be an indie movie and that be the weirdest thing, I can give it that. I've seen some weirder things in indie movies.
So basically, the movie, it's about this American girl who goes to live with her cousins in England, and I don't even remember why or if it even told us why. So while she's there, at first she's like, she hates it, she don't want to be there, whatever. Then she starts falling in love with the older boy, and they run around, they go swimming and whatnot, and then terrorists, I don't even remember if they said
They
what.
never said what the terrorists were, but think about it. Who's the easiest people to attack Britain during a time of war? It would be somebody local, so...
Greenland.
Seriously.
So anyhow...
Yes, Wales attacked England and threw a coup.
Exactly.
So, an unnamed terrorist organization bombs London, and they institute martial law. They take the boys and girls into separate camps, and this girl, the American girl, and her little... she'd had an offer to go home, but she was so in love with her cousin that she didn't want to leave. She wanted to stay there with him. They ended up getting
Teenage
separated.
drama.
Well... They ended up getting separated into separate camps. Her and the little girl escape. They go try to find her brother, and they finally find him at the end. And they have their little incestual cousin love affair. And the war is over, and everybody lives happily ever after.
And also, by the ending of the movie during the radio broadcast, it seemed like England lost the war. No, it did, because it said the new government is taking over, and I can't remember exactly what else the radio said.
Spoiler alert, by the way, if you actually want to watch this movie, it's called How I Live, and it is available on Netflix. They do not endorse this podcast, so they're getting free publicity for the 42 people who like our Facebook page.
Wait, we just got another one?
We've been at 42.
41, 42,
41,
whatever.
never mind.
Crushing my hopes and dreams over here. So, yeah. We got a couple more minutes. That was fun. You disagree? You got a look on your face that seems like you disagree.
No, I was trying to think of something funny to say, but I lost it.
I'm actually wondering if JT dying of heat stroke over there is going to be picked up by the mic.
If you can hear a panting noise in the background,
Cody,
that is not
orgy.
That is not someone using their facial oils as lube to. That is JT the Pitbull, who can be found at jtthepitbull.com.
Well, Mike is not here for that to happen.
But he is in here. He's in the floor. He says hi to everyone, but he is getting hot because it is hot in here. We had to shut the door because the AC was making too much noise. It's 500 years old, and it sounds almost as loud as that Mustang that drove by here.
Speaking of which, we just heard it go by again.
I think that was a motorcycle.
Yeah, that was a crotch rocket.
Good point.
So, but if you can hear that panting in the background, that's JT. He's hot. He needs a drink of water.
He's got the vapors.
I'm about to let him out because we are, I think, pretty much done here. This has been fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it again, I guess. What, next Sunday? Every Sunday. Don't make plans again. Every Sunday. I won't. Because this time I've got you on recording saying every single Sunday you will be here.
Exactly. Yeah, it kind of worked out that we were able to do it today because usually, me and Matt are playing D&D, but it got canceled today, so it all worked out.
And hopefully next time, by the time next Sunday rolls around and we get to do this again, I'll have my other microphone, and so if it sounds like at points some of us, like I said, are far away, again, we're sharing a microphone and we're sitting in a circle around it in this hot ass room. So hopefully next week we'll have the other one. I'm not sure who all will be here, if anybody else will be here with us. I'm trying to get our friend Storm to be here.
Last name unknown.
I think is his last name. But anyway, I'm trying to get him here, and our other friend Brock might be here. So we'll have some interesting conversations. They probably will talk about politics, which is up Cody's alley. I have opinions about things, but I don't know much. I don't pay attention to it because it's all just a pain in the butt to me.
Blah, blah, blah. Obamacare, blah, blah, blah. Treaties, blah, blah, blah. Iran.
I just want to see Cody and Brock argue over a monarchy again.
That was fun, but you gotta admit, I was kind of in the right there.
I don't even remember the argument. I just remember being entertained by it.
He says a monarchy is the preferred version of... I was just like, no. Who wants to live under a monarchy?
So, Brock, if you're listening to this, and I know that you are, shots have been fired. Cody has laid out the challenge. Come back on here next week and defend yourself and your ideas
of
living under a monarchy. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. You said you had a pun.
I told you I couldn't remember it.
That's unfortunate.
I don't see you doing any better.
Well, signing out, always remember, if you're on the lake, a pool noodle can be used as a beer bong.
Well, what was the one we had earlier? Something about birds?
You ruined it.
Yep, you ruined the sign-off, Cody. Good job.
That's just hurtful.